Okay, chapter 10, lesson 4. We're going to talk about multiplying whole numbers and fractions. We've modeled this already. You guys have been exposed to it, which is why we're going to do whole numbers and fractions today. So we're going to do fractions multiplied by whole numbers and fractions multiplied by fractions. Okay. Multiplying fractions by whole numbers and multiplying fractions by fractions is pretty much the same thing, except you have to turn the whole number into a fraction in order to multiply it. So, our first example, it says wild parrot spend 1/6 of the day looking for food. How many hours a day does this parrot spend looking for food? Okay. The first thing we have to do is figure out what we're looking for. It says hours a day. So how many hours in a day are there? 24. So that's where we get our 24 from. Okay? So we have 1/6 times 24. Alright? In order to actually multiply this, we have to turn 24 into a fraction. Any whole number can be turned into a fraction by putting it over 1, because it's still itself. Okay? Once we do that, we're going to extend our fraction bar, and we're going to put both the top numbers together with a multiplication sign and both the bottom numbers together. So we end up, so we'll have 1 times 24. This would help if I wrote 24. And 6 times 1. Okay? Which 1 times 24 is 24, and 6 times 1 is 6. Which brings us here. Okay? Now, what is a fraction? What is a fraction? X. It's a division problem. So remember we talked about two brothers playing in the front yard? One brother tackles the other. He runs inside the house, slams the door. The other brother comes to try to run in. Can't get in. Right? Can't let your brother tell your mom on you. Okay? Now we have 24 divided by 6, which is 4 times 6 is 24. So we have no remainder. So that's 4. So a wild parrot spends 4 hours a day looking for food. Okay. And then we have 1 times 6. 1/6 times 24 equals 1 times 24 divided by 6. 4. All right. So far, so good?
Yeah.
All right, our next example. We have 2 times 4/5. So here they put our whole number in the front. It doesn't change anything. It's still 2 over 1. Okay? Now, they do want us to estimate so we can check our answer. So 2 stays 2. We round 4/5 to the nearest whole number, which is 1. So 2 times 1 is 2. So our answer should be somewhat close to the number 2. All right. So here we have the same thing. 2 times 4/5. Look at our number 2. They put it over 1, so it's a fraction. Okay? Then we extend our bar. Both of our numerators are on top. 2 times 4. Both of our denominators are on bottom. 1 times 5. 2 times 4 is? 1 times 5 is? Remember we said that this is a division problem, right? So we have 8 divided by 5. Our numerator is inside, our denominator is outside. Okay? So this is numerator, denominator. Okay? How many times is 5 going to 8?
1. 5.
What's left?
3.
3, right? Whatever's left when we subtract, as long as it is less than our denominator, we move it on top of the denominator to make our fraction again. So there's 3/5. So we have 1 and 3/5.
Oh, wow.
So far, so good? Okay. You can also do repeated subtraction. What does that mean? That means that you take your numerator and you subtract, your numerator, you subtract the denominator. So 8 minus 5 is 3.
Oh.
So 3 will go on top of the 8. Now, if this was bigger than 5, then you would subtract it again. And every time you can do a subtraction problem, we'll give you a whole number. Okay? So, so let's say that we had 17/5. Okay? If you wanted to use repeated subtraction, you go 17 minus 5. Minus 5. Minus 5.
Until you get to 0? 2.
Until you get to something that is less than 5.
Okay.
So 2 is less than 5, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how many times did I subtract?
37. So the estimate would probably be 4.
And if you divided it, it's the same thing. So look, 17, 5. How many times is 5 going to 17?
3. 3. That seems way easier right there.
So I'm just showing you 2 different ways. Okay?
Thinking about it too.
I just want, well, as long as we get this, as long as I get the same answer. Here's the problem though. So, like, say that you end up with something that are you really going to want to subtract it that many times?
No.
That's going to be like 40 times. Okay? So, if you need to use this at first to check, that's fine, but I would really try to get it that way. Okay? Alright. Our guided practice now. We have 1/2 times 4. We're going to write this in simplest form. Okay? Our whole number is 4. We write it 4 over 1. We multiply our numerators and our denominators. 1 times 4 is 2 times 1 is. Okay. We can divide it or we can subtract it. I'm going to divide it. 4 divided by 2. Okay. So my answer is. So 1/2 times 4 equals 2. All right. All right, I'm going to do number 2, and then I'm going to pick one that is not going to come out even, like number 2 is going to. Okay? So, number 2, I'm going to take 1/3. That's what I get. Forgot to select my pen. So we have 1/3 times 12, or 1/3 times 12 over 1. Okay? Now, twelve thirds, right? Okay. Now, I want to divide 12 divided by 3. How many times is 3 going to 12?
4.
That is 12. So my remainder is 0. So my answer is 4. Okay. Remember, working with fractions, simplest form. The whole number is simplest form. Okay. All right, 3 and 4, more of the same. All right, 4, you're going to end up with a pretty big number, so you're going to have to be patient. Okay. Number 6. So I'm going to do number 6 with you. So find number 6 on your paper. I'm going to walk you through it. I just did number 2. Why didn't you do it with me? Look at this. What is this? Richard, you haven't done our second example. You haven't done. So we have 2/3 times 14 over 14 over
1.
Thank you. So we have 2 times 14 over 3 times 1. 2 times 14 is 28. 3 times 1 is? Okay. So now I have 28 divided by 3. 3 cannot go into 2, right? 3 goes into 28 how many times?
9.
9. 9 times 3 is 27. I subtract that, I have 1 left over. Is 1 less than 3? Yes, it is. So I take my 1 and I put it on top of my 3. So I have 9 and 1/3. Okay? It's the same thing that we did yesterday, right? Same thing we did the day before that. Okay. You have 4 pages that we're going to do today. So you can do 727. Work on 727 and 728 right now. All right. And I'll get ready and we will do the fractions times fractions part of what we're going to do. Which, again, it's going to be identical to what we're doing here. Angel, you need to do your work. Gibby, heater, please.